Good morning, children. Today we are going to discuss another topic in the same chapter, strategies for enhancement in food production, and that is plant breeding for disease resistance. But before this topic as such, I would like to, there are certain other things which are left. We'll be studying them and then we'll be coming to this topic as such. Now, see, we have already discussed about the conventional plant breeding steps. So the same step we will be following here also. That will be followed here also. The same kind of steps. But before that, I would like to tell you certain other things. For example, see, Green Revolution. You must have heard about Green Revolution. It took place in mid 1960s. Now, the reason was that the population was growing very fast, and therefore certain strategies were made in order to increase the food yield as well as to better the quality of the food products. So betterment of the quality as well as the yield of the crops that was required during that time, especially the yield factor was more important, and therefore there certain strategies were adopted. Now, one of the strategy was to have better varieties of food crops in wheat, maize and rice. So, semi-draft varieties were, with the help of plant breeding, semi-draft varieties were made. These semi-draft varieties were of higher yield and to some extent disease resistant, stress tolerant. So let us now discuss about them. At present, contribution of GDP, contribution of agriculture in gross domestic product has decreased dramatically. Contribution of GDP in case of agriculture has decreased. Now, the reasons can be many, but still it is something in between 17 to 19% of the total GDP. In your NCERT book, 33% has been mentioned, but that is not updated. So that means that agriculture is one of the most important contributor of GDP. So naturally, strategies were adopted in order to enhance the food product for the growing population, for the growing needs of the population. So, in between 1960 to 2000, the wheat production was only about 11 million ton in 1960. It was increased to 75 million ton in the same period. Similarly, for rice was produced at about 35 million ton, and this was increased to about 89.5 million ton. Now, this was possible due to semi-draft varieties of rice and wheat. Now, in case of wheat, you must have heard about Nobel laureate Norman E. Boulon. Norman E. Boulon. He was a person who developed semi-draft varieties of wheat and maize in International Institute for Wheat and Rice Improvement, and therefore semi-draft varieties of Sonalika was obtained. Sonalika and Kalyan Sona were obtained, and these were sold in all the agriculture belt of India as such, in order to obtain a high yielding plant. So he was a person who initiated, and we got semi-draft varieties of wheat which had a very high yield. Now, similarly, in case of rice, due to initiation by RRI, International Rice Research Institute, Philippines, IR 8 was obtained. Similarly, Teichung Native 1 was obtained from Taiwan. Now, hybridization was done between these two varieties, and we got semi-draft varieties of rice. In our country, later on improvement was done, and Jaya and Ratna were introduced in 1966. Jaya and Ratna, which are considered to be semi-draft varieties of rice, were introduced in 1966. So this is how semi-draft varieties of wheat, rice and maize came, and crop production increased. Now let us talk about jowar, bajra and millets. Jowar, barley and jowar and barley. Here also hybrid varieties were developed, and high yielding varieties were developed and later on introduced in the fields. In case of sugar plant, basically in North India we have a kind of sugar plant called as Saccharum barberi, which was considered to be less in sugar content, and moreover the stem was very thin, so it was less in yield also, and sugar content was less. So it grew in the fields of North India. It was cultivated in the fields of North India. Another variety of the sugar was cultivated in the South India, and its name was little different. Saccharum officinarum. Now the difference between Saccharum barberi and Saccharum officinarum was that while Saccharum barberi was of less sugar content and yield was also less, it was found that the sugarcane plant which grew on the lands of South India, the stem was thick, the yield was more, even the sugar content was found to be more. So it was initially thought to grow Saccharum officinarum in the fields of northern India, but somehow it was not able to grow. Then the cross was done between the Saccharum berberi and Saccharum officinarum, and the progeny which was obtained, the plants which were obtained, was found to be successful, and it grew on the fields of the North Indian belts, increasing the yield as well as the sugar content of the sugarcane plant. So this was done during that time. Now let us talk about our main topic, plant breeding for disease resistant. See, we have already studied about plant breeding, the main criteria for plant breeding. I have told you that we breed plant, that is, plant breeding takes place because of certain qualities we want in plant. What are these qualities? It should have high yield, it should have a good quality, more amount of vitamin, minerals, carbohydrates should be present in the plant. Then we breed plant because we want stress tolerant plant which can grow at very high temperature, at very low temperature. It can tolerate the salinity of the soil. Then we grow plant for disease resistant. There are certain plants which are resistant to diseases. We may have a particular plant resistant to a particular fungi and another plant resistant to a particular bacteria. We want to obtain a plant which is resistant to bacteria as well as fungi. Then what we will do? Simply, we will hybridize a male plant with a female plant having two different qualities, so that in our progeny both the qualities can come. So that we have done, and that is actually plant breeding. Steps I have already told you. The first step is collection of variability or germplasm, collection of variability or germplasm. That is collecting all the seeds as well as plants belonging to the same species. सपोज आप वीट में ऐसा करना चाहते हो, सारे वीट के प्लांट या सीड्स को कलेक्ट कर दो, उसको हम बोलेंगे कलेक्शन ऑफ वेरिएबिलिटी और जर्मप्लाज्म. नाउ आफ्टर डूइंग इट, इवैल्यूएशन. Evaluation of the parents. What are the things which you want in your plant? It should be disease resistant. It should be high, it should have high yield. It should be resistant towards abiotic stresses. It should be insect resistance. So that is done here. That is, you have to see which kind of plant you want. That is evaluation of the parents, male and female, what you want to take. Then it is done in the second point. So these are similar in case of plant breeding for disease resistant also. See, diseases can be of different nature. We have diseases from mainly three kind of diseases which a plant gets infected from. That is from fungi, from viruses and from bacteria. Let us take the case of fungi. In case of fungi, plants get infected from fungi and it causes many diseases in plants such as rust, brown rust in wheat plant, late blight of potato, then red rot in sugarcane. These are all caused by fungi, which causes disease in plant. These are kinds of diseases caused by fungi. Okay, now diseases which are caused by bacteria include black rot in crucifers, then similarly diseases caused by viruses include tobacco mosaic disease, ये वायरस से होता है, या टर्निप मॉइसेक डिजीज. सो बेसिकली 3 तरह की चीज़ें होती हैं जो डिजीज़ कॉज करती हैं, बैक्टीरिया, वायरस और फंगी. हमें वो प्लांट बनाना है जो डिजीज रेजिस्टेंट हो. सर्टेनली इन सम वाइल्ड प्लांट्स देयर आर जीन्स प्रेजेंट इन देम which protect these plants from pathogens, and pathogens basically are of 3 kinds: fungi, bacteria and viruses. So what we want to do is, we want, first of all, we select all the plants, we collect all the plants, not select, we collect all the plants. So that is called as germplasm collection, and then we screen it, which qualities we want in that plant. We try to know whether disease resistance is present in that plant or not. In which plants disease resistance towards a particular disease which we want is present in plants or not. So in that case we have to find out, we have to screen the germplasm. So that is also very, very important. Evaluation of the parents or screening of germplasm. Screening of germplasm. हम ये पता करते हैं, उतने सारे प्लांट को हमने सीड्स को इकट्ठा किया, तो हम ये देखेंगे कि किस प्लांट्स में वो पर्टिकुलर जीन प्रेजेंट है जिसकी वजह से वो जो हम एक्चुअली चाहते हैं. ऐसा कौन सा प्लांट है जो रस्ट, फंगी से जो बीमारी कॉज होती है रस्ट, उसके लिए वो रेजिस्टेंट है, तो वो हम पता करेंगे, खोजेंगे. तो डैट इज कॉल्ड एज इवैल्यूएशन ऑफ पेरेंट्स और स्क्रीनिंग ऑफ जर्मप्लाज्म. हम पता करते हैं, हम सेलेक्ट करते हैं सारे जर्मप्लाज्म में से उस मेल और फीमेल को जो रेजिस्टेंट हो उस डिजीज़ के लिए. Then cross hybridization between the selected parent, cross hybridization between the selected parent. फिर हम क्या करेंगे, उसको क्रॉस हाइब्रिडाइज करेंगे. हमने आपको बताया था इन क्लास 12th itself, in chapter number 2, that while doing cross hybridization, if suppose they are bisexual plants, what we need to do is, in one of the plant we have to remove the anther, so that emasculation has take place. Emasculation should take place. We need to collect the pollen grain from a superior plant and dust on the stigma, and then I have already told you about bagging and rebagging, ताकि कोई और पॉलन ग्रेन उस पर ना आ जाए. तो वो सारे स्टेप्स करते हैं. देन सीड इज ऑब्टेन. अब सीड्स को ऐसे तो आप पता नहीं कर सकते कि ये जो सीड है वो उसमें डिजीज रेजिस्टेंट है कि नहीं, तो आप सीड को क्या करोगे, सो कर दोगे इन द फील्ड, एंड देन यू हैव टू वेट फॉर सर्टेन टाइम, मे बी 3 months 6 months, and then if suppose these plants are growing in an area where fungal infection is very common and your plant is now not catching that particular disease. अगर आपका प्लांट बीमार नहीं हुआ, अगल बगल के जितने प्लांट्स हैं उनमें ऑलरेडी फंगल इन्फेक्शन है और आपका प्लांट में फंगल इन्फेक्शन कॉज नहीं हुआ, then you can assume that your experiment is little bit successful, but then further trials are required. So third step is cross hybridization, and it is very tedious step. क्रॉस हाइब्रिडाइजेशन में आपको पूरा क्रॉस हाइब्रिडाइजेशन कराने के बाद सीड ऑब्टेन होती है, एंड दैट सीड यू हैव टू सो इन द ऑन द फील्ड्स, अलाउ द प्लांट टू जर्मिनेट. It is so time consuming, so tedious, so much of hard work is involved. You have to wait for some time, then see, observe whether the plant is catching the disease or not. And then fourth is selection and testing of recombinant. टेस्टिंग ऑफ रिकॉम्बिनेंट्स. फिर आपको क्या करना पड़ता है, अगर आपने ये पाया कि आपका जो प्लांट है वो ग्रो कर रहा है फील्ड में, बीमार नहीं हो रहा, देन यू हैव टू टेस्ट. यू हैव ऑलरेडी टेस्टेड इट, यू सेलेक्ट इट, एंड देन इट इज़ फॉलोड बाय further testing and testing and commercialization of the cultivar. आपको फिर क्या करना है, फर्दर उसको टेस्ट करना है. पहले आप लैब में टेस्ट करेंगे, इसके समय सिलेक्शन एंड टेस्टिंग ऑफ द रिकॉम्बिनेंट लैब में टेस्ट करेंगे. फर्दर इट इज़ फॉलोड बाय टेस्टिंग ऑन द agroclimatic zones of India, where the fungal disease is very common, or where that particular bacterial disease is very common, or where viral disease is very common, virus disease is very common. And then finally you conclude that your experiment is successful and you commercialize your product, your seed, commercialization of the cultivar. So this is a common step which was I have told you in the beginning itself in the last lecture, and this is same in case of selection for disease resistance also. So I hope you like my lecture. Thank you. Have a very nice day.